Hello, and welcome to Live Parkinson's, Live an Exceptional Life. I'm your host, Chris Custenbotter, and I've been living an exceptional life with Parkinson's for the past 14 years. The mission of this podcast is to help as many people as possible living with Parkinson's lead a great quality of life. Now, today's topic is one that's really near and dear to my heart lately, and that's gratitude and thankfulness. Have you ever felt like you're constantly chasing happiness? Like the next promotion or vacation will finally make you content? Well, what if happiness wasn't a destination, but a journey fueled by appreciation? Studies show that practicing gratitude can actually boost your happiness, reduce stress, and even improve your physical health. So buckle up, because on today's episode, we're unlocking the secrets of a grateful heart. One of the reasons I wanted to talk to you today about gratitude and thankfulness and what the differences are between the two is I like to start out every day with a gratitude journal, and I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. And the reason I do this is because it helps me start the day off on a positive note, because it helps me to step back and appreciate the things that I have in life and the beauty that's all around me in nature and the outdoors. Because it's easy to get bogged down in the daily stress of paying bills and thinking about your symptoms and other things. So being grateful allows you to step back and look at the big picture and take a step forward on a positive note during the day. So we're going to talk about gratefulness, gratitude, and thankfulness. So let's start out with what is gratitude. So let's break it down. Gratitude isn't just saying thank you. It's a deeper feeling of appreciation for the good things in our lives, whether they be big or small. It's recognizing that those things add value and they enrich our experience. So, for instance, I'll give you an example. 3 weeks ago, I became a grandparent for the first time. My son, Derek, and daughter-in-law, Molly, had their first child, Bonnie, and I can't express the gratitude that I have to be able to go and hold her and see her and just be in awe of new life and how she is starting to explore the world. So that to me is gratitude. It's a deep feeling of appreciation for the good things that I have in life. So I'm also able to go visit my daughter Emily in Philadelphia at the same time when I'm visiting with Bonnie, Derek, and Molly. So it's that gratitude in my heart that I'm able to appreciate the ability to do that. After 14 years with Parkinson's, a lot of times we think, oh, well, you're not going to be very mobile. But I'm grateful that with the proper medications, treatment plan from my doctor, exercise, nutrition, positivity, and staying socially active, it's helped me be able to do the things that I want to do. And I'm able to go visit Bonnie, or she's able to come to where I live and visit me. Now, how's that compared to thankfulness? What is thankfulness? Thankfulness is the outward expression of gratitude. It's the thank you we say when someone gives us a gift, or the act of kindness we show in response to something we appreciate. So, for instance, I'm very thankful for every person that listens to this podcast. It just touches my heart, and I can't thank people enough. So it's an outward expression of gratitude. And what I'm trying to do is express how I feel about the act of kindness that you all show in tuning into this podcast. Or it's when someone gives you a gift because maybe you went above and beyond and did something unexpected for them, and they give you a gift. You're very thankful for that. You show thanks by writing them a thank you note and recognizing that they really appreciated what you've done for them. Now that we know what gratefulness and thankfulness are, let's look at the science behind gratitude. Did you know that gratitude has a biological basis? When we feel grateful, our brains release dopamine. Sounds familiar. We've heard of dopamine before, haven't we? Especially those of us that are living with Parkinson's. And dopamine is both a feel-good chemical, and it helps reinforce positive behaviors. It helps us reinforce pleasurable activities, but it also helps us with our movement. So it does 2 things. In terms of Parkinson's, it's going to help us with our mobility, but also dopamine is involved in the pleasure center. So like when somebody goes to a casino and they're playing the slot machines and they pull the lever and all of a sudden it goes ding, 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 ding. They're going to all of a sudden go, wow. And there's all this dopamine released and they're going to be excited. One of the problems that we have today is that especially teenagers have become addicted to cell phones because every time they hear the ding of a text message or the ding of a notification from Facebook or Instagram, they immediately have to go and check the message. And so what that does is it reinforces that every time you hear a ding, a shot of dopamine is released, makes them feel good, and they have to go and check. They have to be very careful in terms of, especially with young people, where they're getting that quick shot of dopamine. It's easy to become addicted to that because it's a feel-good chemical. And then when you release that dopamine, it can lead to increased happiness, optimism, and resilience. So what are some of the benefits of gratitude? Well, increased happiness and well-being. When you're grateful, you take a step back and you appreciate and you're happy and you feel good about yourself because you're really looking at all the positive things in your life. A second thing it does is it helps to reduce stress and anxiety because if you're grateful for things, it helps to focus on the things that are positive and less on the things that are negative. And that's going to help you reduce your stress and anxiety. Because typically when you have anxiety, and I've struggled with anxiety in the past in my life, so I can speak from the heart about it. But when you get into anxious moments, what you tend to do is you tend to fuel the fire by continuing to build negative thoughts. So you may start to feel anxious about something and then you start doing the what if. Well, what if this happens? What if I can't breathe? What if I have to get out of here? What if I have to do this? And then your body starts to release adrenaline, and that's the fight or flight response. And you start looking around and your heart starts beating faster. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your palms become sweaty, and you have to get out of there. So when you focus on things that you're grateful for, you're actually looking at things from a positive manner and you're pushing those negative thoughts out. So it's going to help you reduce your stress and anxiety. Being grateful also builds stronger relationships. When you can look at your friend, your spouse, your partner, whoever it happens to be, and you can look at them and say, I'm grateful for all the things that you do for me, or I'm grateful for the time we get to spend together. I'm grateful for the children we have, whatever it happens to be. You're going to build stronger relationships and stronger bonds with those people. And it could be a coworker as well. Maybe you work as a part of a team and you're grateful for the work that they do and they're grateful for the work that you do. And it helps to build stronger working relationships as well. And then gratitude helps improve your sleep. Whenever you're grateful, you just have a positive feelings and you have that overall sense of well-being. It makes it easier to sleep because you're not going to bed with a lot of racing thoughts, negative thoughts that are going to keep you awake. So being grateful is really going to be able to help you improve your sleep. And then finally, it's going to help with your physical health as well. When you're grateful, a lot of times you get up and you're ready and you have a lot more energy because you're looking at things in a positive manner and you want to get out there and exercise because it's good for both your Parkinson symptoms and it's going to help you with your mobility and flexibility and your balance. So being grateful is also and the gratitude is also going to help with your physical overall health. So how do we cultivate gratitude? Well, there's a number of different ways that you can accomplish this. One is gratitude journaling. And this is usually what I do in the early morning hours when I first wake up is I do gratitude journaling, or I have a gratitude journal. And what I do is I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for each day. And that's going to start the day off, like I said, on a great foot. And I'm going to start looking at things from the positive aspect rather than the negative aspect. Another thing you can do is what they call the gratitude jar. And with the gratitude jar, what you do is you write down things that you're grateful for on slips of paper, and then you pull one out whenever you need to pick me up. So maybe you had a rough day and you go over to your gratitude jar and you pull out one of the pieces of paper and you read it and you say, wow, I didn't realize I was grateful for that. So that's a great way when you're having an off day or you're having a bad day or your motor symptoms are giving you problems to go over to the gratitude jar and get a quick pick-me-up. Another thing you can do is practice mindfulness. You can take time each day to appreciate the simple things in life. And that is spending time with your friends, spending time with your family, doing the hobbies that you love to do. Maybe you have animals. We actually have 2 rescue boxer dogs. And one of the things I can say about the boxer dogs and just dogs in general, but I've had boxer dogs all my life and we rescue them. We've been rescuing them for the past 18 years. And these are often dogs that come from horrible conditions, whether it be puppy mills where they're beaten and just not fed and not treated very well. And then they come into your house and you show them love. And all of a sudden, within a few months, you start to see a change in them. But one of the things that I'm grateful for with my dogs is they're always happy to see you. You could be having what you consider the worst day. And when you walk in the door and their little stumps are wagging and they're racing around and they're just so excited to see you and they want to spend time with you. It just makes you grateful that they're a part of your life and that they're there to help you see things in a positive light. So that they actually show the ultimate love because they're just they love you and they're happy to see you, but they don't expect anything in return. And by having the boxer dogs, it's really enhanced my life and made me more grateful to be able to help these poor souls that have been treated poorly and then give them a great quality of life. And they may have started out life in a bad way and not have been treated very well. And it makes me feel good that the remaining part of their life, they have, they get their treats, they go for walks, they'll sleep in the bed with us, or they'll jump up on the couch and you pet them, you give them belly rubs, all those things. And then you see where they were and then how they're living life now. And you just have to be grateful and appreciate the things that they do for you. And then finally, you can express gratitude to others. Thank the people who make your life better. I mean, one of the things I always like to do is I always hold the door for people. I always say, good morning or good afternoon, good evening, how are you today? Because when you acknowledge people and you ask them how their day is, a lot of times it breaks them out of what they were, the negative thoughts they might have been thinking. They turn around and say, oh, someone's actually interested in how I'm doing today. That's great. And then so you actually you can change someone's whole mindset. So a lot of times people do things and they don't feel appreciated. And there's nothing better than to walk up and say, you know what? I really appreciate all these things that you do for me, or you've made my life better because of this. And that can change someone's whole outlook and the way of how they look at life. Now, let's look at gratitude beyond the good times. Now, we can still practice gratitude even when things are tough. It's easy to focus on what we have, not what we lack, and we can build resilience. Now, this week I challenge you to choose one gratitude practice that we just talked about and incorporate it into your daily routine. And then I'd love for you to be able to let me know how this change in perspective changed your outlook. So if you have a success story based on how you started a gratitude journal and next thing you know, you were able to do these things because of the way you changed your outlook on life, I'd love to hear about that. So I'd love to hear some success stories that you have. And you'll share with those with me. I would really appreciate it. Now, I'll give you a couple of things that I'm grateful for. I just mentioned that recently I became a grandparent for the first time. And I'm just excited to be able to say, wow, look at Bonnie. She is the most beautiful thing that I've seen. Her facial expressions, the way she, moves her hands, and just the way she takes in the world is just, to me, it's just incredible. And it just makes your heart feel good to see that your children are able to have their own kids and watch them grow as well. And then I look at my daughter, Emily, and I'm very thankful for the life she's lived. She's actually lived in a foreign country. She lived in Poland for 4 years. She knew no Polish at all when she went there. She taught kindergarten and first grade kids to speak English as their second language and did a great job. And then she moved on to working in a corporate environment in Poland. And then eventually, after 4 years, she decided she wanted to return to the United States. And recently she moved to Philadelphia, where her friends are. And she secured a job at a large law firm being the marketing manager. And she's excelling at that, and she's doing a great job. And it's great to see her excel and use the talents and skills that she has as well. And that makes my heart grateful to see that as well. That is being grateful. Now, in terms of being thankful, thankful is when you say to somebody, hey, I want to thank you for what you've done for me. So a lot of times being thankful is short term. Gratitude can be more long term as a way to look at it. You think, wow, is gratitude really as important as you say it is? And is it really going to have that big an effect on my life? Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because there are a number of studies out there that looked at Parkinson's and gratitude. The first one is gratitude, self-efficacy, and health-related quality of life in individuals with Parkinson's disease. And the aim of this cross-sectional study was to examine the relationship among gratitude, self-efficacy. So this is people that talked about gratitude amongst themselves, and health-related quality of life questions by gender and individuals with Parkinson's. So what they essentially did is they brought people in, and they're going to ask them to self-assess themselves on how grateful they are. And then they're also going to fill out a health-related quality of life questionnaire. So there were 102 individuals with Parkinson's that started. There were 55 women and 42 men. And you're saying, well, that doesn't add up to 102. Well, 5 people didn't report a gender. And then they completed questionnaires on gratitude, self-efficacy, and the health-related quality of life problems. And although there were no gender differences between gratitude, so no differences between men and women, self-efficacy or health-related quality of life problems, there were key gender differences in how those variables were related. Gratitude was associated with more health-related quality of life problems for women than men. So women tended to look at more of the problems that were health related that were going to have an effect on their quality of life than men were, whereas self-efficacy was associated with more quality of life issue problems for men than women. And then self-efficacy, this is how they saw themselves, emerged as a more important predictor of problems for women and men than the gratitude. So the research could lead to targeted interventions by gender aimed at improving the quality of life in individuals with PD, particularly building self-efficacy, and that's how people view each other. There was another study, the effects of gratitude on health-related quality of life in Parkinson's disease, and that research has consistently shown that individuals who take the time to focus on things for which they are grateful are likely to have increased well-being. However, individuals who have been diagnosed with a chronic health condition such as PD may not be as likely to experience gratitude. What they found is that people that were diagnosed with chronic diseases like Parkinson's may not be able to show gratitude the way other groups do that. So it's important that you take a step back in terms of gratitude and thankfulness and realize that gratitude is more long-term. And the way I look at it, and thankfulness is short-term. You can thank somebody for doing a good job or thank somebody for something they did for you. And that's kind of like a one-off experience. Again, like I said, I'm thankful for the people that have listened to this podcast, which is short-term, but I'm also grateful for all the people that continue to tune in, because it's just, to me, it's overwhelming. And I just have a sense of gratitude that people are continuing to listen to the topics that can help improve their quality of life and hopefully share with others as well. There you have it. Gratitude is a powerful tool for a happier, healthier you. As we close out, what I'd like you to do is, of the 3 or 4 things that we talked about, gratitude journaling, the gratitude jar, and the expressing gratitude to others and being thankful, and mindfulness is another one that we talked about as well. What are 1 to 2 things that you can focus on today to help you become more grateful and appreciate the things that you have in life, because there's a lot of things out there that on a daily basis that a lot of times we overlook. But if you actually take the time to step back and look at them and be grateful for them, it's going to really change your mindset in terms of how you approach life. So what I would challenge you to do is to pick two or three of those things and see how that has a positive impact on your life. Now, gratitude goes beyond the good times, which we already talked about. And so as we close out, I'd appreciate if you would go to fanlist.com/exceptional life. And that's fanlist.com/exceptional life. And I would love to hear from you with your success stories or any topics that you would like to hear that are going to help improve your quality of life. Because ultimately the goal of this podcast is to help as many people with Parkinson's live a great quality of life as possible. And I want to be able to target the podcast so that they're pertinent to you on a daily basis and help you live a great quality of life. So if you'd be kind enough to go on to fanlist.com/exceptional life and join the chat room, share your success stories. I'd love to build a great quality community as well. Now, I also want to talk about before we close out, I wanted to share an exciting offer from audible.com to the listeners of this podcast. Now, if you're not familiar with audible.com, they're your one-stop shop for everything audio. They've got thousands of titles of audiobooks and podcasts that you can choose from, as well as Audible originals from celebrities and experts in their field that you can take advantage of as well. Now, they're offering listeners of this program a free audiobook if you sign up for their free 30-day trial of audible.com. Two of the books that I recommend, that I've read and personally recommend that are on audible.com are No Time Like the Future, An Optimist Considers Mortality by Michael J. Fox, and Parkinson's Treatment, 10 Secrets to a Happier Life by Dr. Michael Oken. Now, if you decide not to sign up for the membership to audible.com, you still get to keep the free audiobook. Now, if you decide to sign up for the free 30-day trial and the free audiobook, I do want to be transparent, and because I believe in personal integrity, that if you sign up for the free 30-day trial and the free audiobook, Audible pays me a small commission, which I use to support this podcast and my website. If you decide to sign up for the free 30-day trial, then I thank you for supporting this podcast, but you're under no obligation to purchase anything. So I thank you for listening. And as we close out this podcast, I want to request that you'll visit my YouTube channel, Live Parkinson's Live an Exceptional Life, Drummers to Triumph, and subscribe. If you like the videos, click on like. And also, if you need additional information about Parkinson's, visit my website, liveparkinsons.com, and sign up for the free monthly newsletter. Again, I thank you for listening, and I really appreciate you being part of the audience. And again, I'm grateful for all the things that you do as listeners, and I hope to see you on future podcasts. And as I close out, I want to just say have a spectacular day, and thanks again for being a listener.